you will want to know how I dial this in, because after you hear it, you will never want to mix a weak bass again.
Get time for a vacation. Find me in Indonesia, I'll be getting blazing. Doing what I wanna do. Doing, I'll be far from your pretty gloomy break out. I ain't tryna still stare, home, give me a day out. Let me find my.
Now, one of the best mixers out there, Craig Brower, shared this on his Instagram a while back. Not only did I give it a go, I also put my own spin on it, which I'm going to show you. But what is actually happening behind the hood? Now, here's his chain and here's mine. The magic is here in the voltage sag on Big Al. As we remove the subs below 40 Hz, you use the voltage sag in parallel, which I'm using on the Red 37 by Waves, and this focuses saturation on the low end only. And by putting so much saturation on the signal in those low frequencies, you get a natural form of compression to the sub info for more consistent low end. But let's delete everything and pay attention, because I will show you exactly step by step how I dialed in this sound. So the first thing we need to do is find out which part of the subs we want to roll off, like the flabbier lower bits which aren't consistent, and which part of the bass has a bit of the definition, a bit of the pick action or the finger action from the basses. So let's get that down first. And just so you know, you can do this on any bass line, even 808s. That's that awkwardly rumbly part of the bass in the subs, which we're going to roll off, but we're going to bring back with so much harmonics, it's not funny. So that's the first part I want to cut out. Now we're going to find where the sort of that definition, that movement in the strings are. Let's have a listen. Up at that 3K, it's almost like that the very top part of the articulation in the strings, all the wobble in it, you can hear really clearly. It sounds like the amp has been turned off and you're just playing the strings as they are. So I'm liking there. Cool. And then we've got another 2 layers here. I'm just going to copy that setting across to my other bass layers. Now, because they're all playing in unison, I do want to keep all the bass lines phase aligned, because these 3 basses make up a bass stack, and if I use different EQs, move the phase differently to each of them, they're not going to sum together the same. So now we need to audition the parallel channel. What I did is I created some pre-fader post-effect sends. So basically what I can do here with these is audition my parallel channel without hearing the main ones to dial in this red here. So let's do that. Let's dial this in. The first thing we're going to want to make sure to do is have the bass lift up. The start is with this drive feature here, just because I like to get it heavy. I want to hear how heavy I can really push it, and then we'll use the tone EQ top and bottom to balance it all out. So let's drive this up, and as we drive it, we start to hear that low end get really thick and heavy. Let's try between Red 37 and Red 51. Okay, Red 37 to my ear is heavier and fatter, but Red 51 keeps a bit of the definition, which I think is probably more important because we're already getting really heavy. So we're going to go with the Red 51. We've driven it to where there's a bit of weight there. Now we just have to balance the high and the low. Now, the thing with this, it's easy. It's super easy to get carried away. So it's really important that we A-B, and I did pull the lows down because it was super big and woolly and that wouldn't balance well in the mix. So I just want to get the feel of this right. So this is heavy and thick, but it's still relatively balanced, this parallel channel. Listen to this before and after. Next thing I typically use here is the decapitator, because the N mode models the germanium transistors on the Neve. This is what I typically use, but I didn't use it for this record, but I'm still going to show you how I dial it in. N mode, punish on 1.5. I don't know why I really like the sound of this decapitator setting on anything bass, but for this mix it didn't work out, but I thought I'd show you because this is, the reason why I use this N style is because it almost shoots into like a limiting mode, sort of where it saturates anything that's a little bit too hot. So take a listen to this before and after. It won't be level matched, unfortunately, but just to get an idea for the feel that this, or tone this gives to it. I gotta do this level matched actually. I just heard it and I'm like, ooh, really? Okay, it's still a bit ridiculous. Let's just come back. All right, now you hear it. Now you hear it. Before and after. Just adds a little bit more like attitude to it. But I didn't like it for this because everything got a little bit too dense, a bit too heavy in saturation. And I just want this to be fat in the low end, not overly edgy and bright, and then the bass just pokes out a bit too much and you're going to bring it down and you chase your tail. So instead of the decapitator, I went for the 76. And I went for the 76 not to do any compression really. This is just an attitude. There's a certain tone to the blue mode, okay? Attack and release all the way fast. It won't, I don't think I'm going to catch any peaks with it, but it's just the tone, just purely the tone of this is really nice for the bass. It keeps the definition there while it's still very heavy. I don't know how to explain that or articulate that, but you have to hear it. You know what, it is just making it louder, but I know that this particular CLA 76 adds something to the tone. I'm going to actually put up the frequency response plot of this setting and the Hammerstein plot of this setting, so that way you guys can actually see what it's doing to the overall harmonics and frequency of the signal. And then the final thing I did here, and this is the one thing Craig Bauer didn't do in his, and I've just been doing in my mixes on parallel bases forever, is I'm using this wider plugin. And do you know where we're going to set it to? That's where we're going to set it to. Why? Because I can, all right? Take a listen to this. Sounds fat as hell. Now, the main thing is I'm going to get rid of this trim because I didn't use this trim in my original balance. Let's get rid of these pre-fader sends and have a listen to it in the mix, because the main aspect of this is that we have a fatness control now that we can blend up or down as fat as we want. So let's get to that.
The Herbie in the zoo. I said, watch out. Don't pet it, yo, one. Don't pet it, yo, one. Don't keep your watch out. Don't pet it, yo, one. Don't pet it, yo, one. I'm about to break out. Get time for a vacation. Find me in Indonesia, I'll be getting blazing. Doing what I wanna do. Doing, I'll be far from your pretty gloomy break out. I ain't tryna stay at home, give me a day out. Let me find my way out.
So now you've got this. You can go make a fat bass. Look at this, okay? These are the tools. EQ the main bass, send it out to parallel, saturate the lows, the Red 37, Big Al with the voltage sag. Huge saturation on the lows, which is great for that fatness and consistency like a natural compression. The Decapitator's my choice. Craig's in his was the germanium compressor. I use the 76 on this mix for some reason. The wider is just the way I like to do my parallel basses, make them stupid a little bit. Tonally, it's a cool sort of thing. But that's it. Now go make a fat bass. Go get these plugins or use something similar that does a similar thing. Experiment in parallel, rolling off the subs, that's a weird one, and then saturating the fuck out of them for consistency. All right? And until next time, take care.